My friends, there are seasons in life when you can sense that something is shifting. You may not always be able to explain it in words, but you can feel that God is moving you beyond where you are. Elevation is not always obvious in the beginning, because before God takes you to the next level, He will first prepare you for it. He will begin to place signs around you that confirm He is calling you higher. These signs are not random, they are divine signals pointing to your promotion. One of the first signs is that unusual challenges begin to come your way. Life becomes uncomfortable in areas that once seemed easy. You might face rejection, unexpected pressure, or sudden resistance. But do not be discouraged. Pressure is proof that greatness is being formed in you. Just as a diamond is formed under immense heat and pressure, your trials are shaping you for a greater assignment. God does not send trials to destroy you. He allows them to build capacity in you. What you are going through is not a punishment. It is preparation for elevation. Another sign is divine disconnection. There are relationships, habits, and even opportunities that once served a purpose in your life. But in this new season, God will begin to separate you from them. Sometimes it is painful, because people you thought would always walk with you suddenly drift away. But elevation requires separation. The next level has different requirements, and not everyone around you can handle where God is taking you. Do not mourn every departure. Some people are not enemies, but their assignment in your life has simply ended. God is pruning you, so that only what is fruitful remains. Then comes a stirring in your spirit. You begin to feel restless in your comfort zone. The things that once satisfied you no longer do. You sense a holy dissatisfaction pushing you to dream bigger, to think wider, to believe for more. This is God awakening vision inside you. You may even feel uncomfortable where you are, not because it is bad, but because it is too small for the destiny inside of you. That stirring is a signal that elevation is near. God is preparing you to step into something you have never experienced before. Another sign is the opening of doors that no man could open. When God elevates you, He orchestrates opportunities that go beyond your qualifications, beyond your connections, and beyond your efforts. Suddenly, favor begins to follow you. People you never expected will extend help. Resources will appear, and doors you knocked on for years will suddenly swing open. This is not coincidence. It is divine favor. Favor is God's fingerprint on your elevation. When He wants to take you higher, He makes sure that no man can take the credit. With elevation also comes greater responsibility. God never promotes without purpose. If He lifts you, it is because He wants to entrust you with more influence, more assignment, and more responsibility. Elevation is not for comfort, it is for kingdom impact. You may notice that more is being demanded of you. More discipline, more wisdom, more integrity, more sacrifice. This is a sign that God is trusting you with something bigger than yourself. To whom much is given, much will always be required. And finally, you will notice that your spiritual sensitivity begins to increase. You find yourself hearing God's voice more clearly, desiring prayer more deeply, and hungering for His word like never before. The next level always requires clearer instructions, and so God draws you closer. He refines your ears to hear Him and your heart to obey Him. If you are sensing a fresh desire for intimacy with God, it is not accidental, it is preparation for elevation. He is aligning your spirit with His purpose, so that when the new season comes, you will be ready to step into it with clarity and strength. So when you see these signs, unusual challenges, divine disconnections, a stirring vision, uncommon favor, greater responsibility, and heightened sensitivity to God, do not be afraid. Do not resist the process. Rejoice, because these are not signs of trouble, they are signs of promotion. They are God's way of telling you, I am lifting you to the next level. When God begins the process of elevating you to a new level, one of the clearest indicators you will notice is the sudden appearance of unusual challenges. Many people assume that promotion comes with ease, with applause, with doors flinging open and opportunities landing neatly in their laps. But the truth is that the road to elevation is often paved with trials that do not make sense at first. These challenges come not to destroy you, but to prepare you. They come as instruments in the hand of God to shape, to prune, and to enlarge your capacity so that when you step into the place He has prepared for you, you will have the strength, wisdom, and endurance to handle it. If you think about the natural process of growth, nothing develops without resistance. A seed cannot become a tree unless it first pushes through the soil that buries it. Muscles cannot grow stronger unless they are stretched and placed under pressure. In the same way, the challenges you face when God is elevating you are the very soil and resistance needed for your spirit, mind, and character to expand. What feels like opposition is often preparation for position. When God is ready to lift you higher, He allows you to walk through situations that seem too heavy for your current strength. You may suddenly face rejection from people you counted on, disappointments in areas you were confident about, or obstacles that appear out of nowhere. To the natural mind, these look like setbacks, but in the spiritual realm, they are setups. God is not cruel, nor does He delight in your suffering, but He understands that your destiny requires more resilience than your present level of comfort can produce. Just as David could not face Goliath without first facing the lion and the bear, you cannot face your destiny without first conquering the challenges that are designed to build you. Every battle, every rejection, every test is a training ground for the elevation to come. The presence of unusual challenges is also God's way of shifting your dependence. When life is smooth, it is easy to rely on your own wisdom, your own plans, and your own strength. But when challenges appear that are bigger than you, you are forced to lean into God in ways you never have before. You begin to pray with a desperation you didn't know you carried. You begin to listen for His direction more carefully. You begin to trust His timing because your own efforts fall short. That is the purpose of elevation. It pushes you into deeper intimacy with the one who is lifting you. The challenges strip you of self-reliance so that when you arrive at the next level, you know without a doubt that it was not by your power but by His Spirit. In that way, the challenges become sacred because they usher you into dependence on God that positions you for sustained greatness. Another thing about unusual challenges is that they often expose what is hidden in you. Pressure has a way of revealing both strengths and weaknesses. When life is calm, your patience, your faith, your character may appear intact. But when the storms rise, what is really inside of you comes to the surface. God uses these seasons not to embarrass you, but to purify you. If there are areas of pride, fear, insecurity, or doubt, the challenges will reveal them so you can surrender them to Him. Elevation requires purity of heart and strength of character, because the higher you go, the more influence you carry, and the more weight your life will bear. The unusual challenges you face today are the fire that refines you, so that when you step into tomorrow's platform, you are not crushed by the responsibility. Instead, you stand firm because your foundation was tested and proven in the hidden places of challenge. Sometimes the challenges come not in the form of hardship, but in the form of stretching. God will put you in situations that are outside your comfort zone. He will require you to take on responsibilities you feel unqualified for. He will call you to step into rooms where you feel out of place. You may find yourself leading projects you never thought you could handle, speaking in places you never imagined, or solving problems you never thought you had the capacity to address. This stretching is uncomfortable, but it is a clear sign that God is enlarging you for elevation. You cannot stay small and step into something great at the same time. The stretching seasons are His way of teaching you to think bigger, to rise to the occasion, and to trust that He has placed more in you than you realize. What feels like intimidation is actually initiation into a greater dimension of purpose. Unusual challenges also separate the committed from the casual. Many people desire elevation, but not everyone is willing to endure the process that prepares them for it. When difficulties arise, the casual ones walk away, but those who are truly called press forward. Your endurance in the face of unusual challenges becomes the proof of your readiness for promotion. God cannot trust higher levels of influence to those who abandon the assignment at the first sign of discomfort. The very fact that you remain steadfast, that you keep moving, that you continue to believe even when the odds are stacked against you, is what qualifies you for the next season. Challenges become the proving ground for faithfulness. They show God, and they show you that you are not just excited about destiny, you are committed to walking it out no matter what it costs. Consider also that unusual challenges often precede unusual victories. The battles that seem the most difficult usually produce the most significant breakthroughs. Think of Israel standing before the walls of Jericho. The walls were impossible to bring down by human strength, yet after obedience and persistence, God caused them to fall. Think of Joseph, who endured betrayal, slavery, and prison only to be elevated to the palace. The greater the challenge, the greater the testimony of God's power in your life. If the elevation God is preparing for you is extraordinary, do not be surprised if the challenges leading up to it are equally extraordinary. The measure of resistance often hints at the magnitude of the reward. These challenges also train you to handle pressure with wisdom. Leadership at any level requires the ability to stand firm when things are uncertain, to make decisions under stress, and to keep faith alive when others are afraid. By allowing unusual challenges in your current stage, God is teaching you skills you will need at the next. The lessons you learn in the valley of testing become the strategies you use on the mountain of influence. If you cannot remain calm and trust God with the small challenges, how will you manage the larger responsibilities? Elevation is not about avoiding problems. It is about developing the capacity to handle them with grace, courage, and divine wisdom. At times, unusual challenges will even shift your perspective. They remind you that life is not about comfort, but about growth, not about ease, but about purpose. When you face something you cannot understand, it humbles you and forces you to look beyond the temporary into the eternal. You start to see problems as opportunities for God to reveal His glory. You stop asking, "Why me?" and you start declaring, "Use me." That shift in mindset is itself a sign of elevation, because it means you are no longer living for yourself, but for the greater purpose God has placed on your life. That perspective is essential for the next level, because elevation is never just about you. It is about those you will impact through your obedience. So when you encounter unusual challenges, when the pressure mounts, when the road becomes rough, when the opposition increases, do not assume that God has abandoned you. On the contrary, it is evidence that He is preparing you for something greater. It is proof that He is building your capacity, enlarging your vision, strengthening your faith, and refining your character. These challenges are not stumbling blocks, they are stepping stones. They are the signposts that tell you elevation is near. If you can endure, if you can remain faithful, if you can see beyond the pain to the promise, then you will understand that these unusual challenges are nothing less than God's invitation to the next level of your destiny. When God is elevating you to the next level, one of the most subtle yet powerful signs you will notice is divine disconnection. At first, it may feel confusing, even painful. People who were once close to you may drift away. Opportunities that once seemed guaranteed may disappear. Certain habits, routines, and even environments that once felt safe may no longer satisfy or align with the direction God is taking you. Many fail to recognize this as a sign of elevation because our natural inclination is to hold on to what is familiar, to cling to comfort, and to resist change. Yet, this process of divine disconnection is intentional, strategic, and necessary. God is removing the things that cannot accompany you into your next season because He understands that the higher you go, the greater the demands and the more refined the environment must become. Divine disconnection often begins quietly, almost imperceptibly. You may notice that conversations no longer resonate the way they used to, or that certain relationships start to feel strained without any apparent reason. People may start to drift away naturally, and you may feel a growing distance between yourself and certain environments. This is not always a reflection of failure or rejection. It is a reflection of God's alignment process. He is separating you from what is no longer productive or supportive, so that your energy, focus, and attention are concentrated on what is truly meant for you. Elevation requires alignment. Just as a skilled builder clears the construction site before building a higher structure, God clears your life of elements that would prevent your growth. If you resist this disconnection, you will hinder the very process that is meant to prepare you for your promotion. Sometimes divine disconnection manifests through the ending of relationships. People who were once central to your life may leave, either by choice or circumstance. It can be painful because emotional bonds are not easy to release. You may find yourself asking, "Why is this happening?" or "Why now?" It is natural to grieve the loss, but it is crucial to understand that God does not remove people from your life arbitrarily. Each removal is intentional. Those who cannot handle your elevation, those whose presence would become a hindrance, or those whose timing in your life has ended, are allowed to step away. Divine disconnection is not about punishment, it is about preparation. God is creating space for people who will walk with you into the next level, people who align with the purpose and vision He is placing in your heart. In addition to relationships, divine disconnection may appear through opportunities or environments. Doors that seem secure may close, and familiar paths may suddenly become blocked. You might lose a job, a business partnership, or an opportunity that you were counting on. To the natural mind, these losses appear as setbacks, but in the spiritual realm they are setups. God is redirecting your life toward opportunities that are more aligned with His purpose for you. He is removing distractions, detours, and dead ends, so that when the right doors open, you can walk through them without hindrance. Elevation requires focus. If you try to carry what no longer serves you, you will be weighed down and unable to move effectively into the new season. Divine disconnection is God's way of lightening your load for the journey ahead. Another aspect of divine disconnection is the detachment from old habits and routines. What was once comfortable and easy may begin to feel limiting. You may notice that certain activities, patterns, or ways of thinking no longer satisfy you or contribute to your growth. This discomfort is intentional. God is refining your mind, your heart, and your lifestyle to prepare you for the next level of responsibility and influence. Habits that were suitable for a previous season may not align with the demands of the new one. Spiritual growth often requires a reprogramming of your inner life, and disconnection from the old is necessary for connection to the new. What you feel as emptiness or loss is actually a divine invitation to embrace a higher standard, a greater purpose, and a more expansive destiny. Divine disconnection also teaches you to rely on God rather than people, positions, or possessions. When familiar supports fall away, you are forced to seek your strength, guidance, and provision directly from Him. You begin to understand that elevation is not about people approving of you or doors opening through human effort alone. It is about God orchestrating your life according to His plan. As relationships, opportunities, and environments are removed, you are positioned to discover that true security and fulfillment come from God alone. This shift is crucial because the higher you rise, the more you will need to depend on divine guidance rather than human validation. Disconnection trains your faith, sharpens your discernment, and deepens your reliance on God's wisdom. It is also important to recognize that divine disconnection is not always immediate or sudden. Sometimes it is gradual, a subtle nudging rather than a dramatic removal. You may feel a gentle pull away from certain people, places, or activities, a sense that your heart no longer resonates with the familiar. At other times, it is abrupt and unmistakable. Relationships end, jobs are lost, or doors slam shut. Regardless of the pace, the principle remains the same. God is orchestrating separation to align you with the purpose He has for your next level. When you understand this, you can embrace disconnection with faith rather than fear. You can see it as a sign that God is preparing you for something greater, that He is clearing the path so you can step into your destiny without obstruction. Divine disconnection also serves to sharpen your discernment. As certain people and opportunities are removed, you begin to develop a deeper awareness of what aligns with God's purpose and what does not. You start to recognize relationships, environments, and activities that are productive versus those that are distracting. This awareness is crucial for the next level because the higher you go, the more critical it becomes to discern what belongs in your life and what does not. Elevation requires not just growth in skill or capacity, but growth in wisdom, judgment, and spiritual insight. Disconnection trains you to see clearly, to act decisively, and to maintain focus on what truly matters. The process of divine disconnection also teaches humility and patience. When things or people are removed from your life, it can feel unfair or frustrating. You may struggle to understand the timing, the reason, or the purpose. However, learning to trust God's timing and accept His pruning process is a vital part of elevation. It humbles the spirit, softens the heart, and aligns the will with God's plan. Patience becomes a virtue because you learn to wait for what is right rather than clinging to what is convenient. You learn to let go of control and allow God to direct your steps, which is essential for handling the responsibilities and challenges of the next level. Divine disconnection also creates space for new connections. As old relationships or influences are removed, God begins to bring new people, mentors, partners, and supporters into your life who align with your vision, values, and purpose. These new connections will support, challenge, and propel you into the new season. If you cling to what is leaving, you may miss what God is bringing. Elevation requires both removal and addition. The pruning of the old makes way for the blessing of the new, and disconnection is the mechanism by which God ensures that the right elements enter your life at the right time. What may initially feel like loss is actually preparation for blessing. It is also critical to understand that divine disconnection is a sign of growth, not failure. Many people interpret separation as rejection or abandonment, but in reality, it is evidence that you are moving beyond what you once were. You are outgrowing certain people, certain situations, and certain levels of comfort because God is ready to take you higher. The discomfort you feel is not punishment, it is proof of progress. Elevation is not about staying in the same place with the same people and expecting different results. It is about growth, expansion, and alignment with the purpose God has placed in your heart. Every disconnection is a step toward a higher destiny, and every loss is an opportunity for greater gain. Finally, divine disconnection teaches you to prioritize the eternal over the temporary. When God begins to elevate you, your perspective shifts. You start to value things that last, things that matter, and things that contribute to your purpose. Relationships, environments, and habits that were once important may no longer hold the same weight because your eyes are fixed on a higher calling. This shift is essential for elevation because the next level requires clarity of purpose and focus on what is lasting rather than what is fleeting. Disconnection refines your priorities, aligns your heart with God's plan, and positions you for the fullness of the next season of your life. When God is preparing to elevate you to the next level, one of the most unmistakable signs is the awakening of a fresh vision and a holy restlessness within your spirit. This restlessness is unlike ordinary dissatisfaction. It is a divine stirring, a deep inner prompting that tells you that you cannot remain where you are because God has something greater for you. It begins subtly, often as a feeling of unease or discontent with your current circumstances. The things that once brought comfort, security, or satisfaction no longer do. You may find yourself asking questions about your purpose, about the meaning of your daily routine, and about whether you are living in alignment with the destiny God has placed in your heart. This stirring is not accidental. It is God awakening you, nudging you, and preparing your heart for elevation. It is the sign that your spirit is being stretched and that the next level is calling your name. This holy restlessness is often accompanied by an increased clarity of vision. You begin to see beyond the limitations of your current environment. You start imagining possibilities that once seemed impossible. Your mind is open to ideas, solutions, and opportunities that you never considered before. What is remarkable about this sign is that it is not driven by human ambition, but by a divine impulse. It is God's way of showing you that your current level is not the end of your journey. When He elevates you, He expands your perspective so that you begin to understand the broader scope of His plan for your life. This clarity of vision is a key indicator that He is positioning you for a higher level of impact, influence, and responsibility. As the stirring grows stronger, you may begin to experience a sense of urgency. Life in its current state no longer feels sufficient. There is a restlessness in your soul that pushes you to move, to act, and to seek more. This urgency is not anxiety, it is purpose. It is God stirring your spirit to recognize that the next level requires action, faith, and preparation. You cannot remain passive and expect elevation to happen. The restlessness is a divine invitation to engage actively with your calling. It is a sign that God is challenging you to align your actions with His vision. When you embrace this urgency, you begin to take deliberate steps toward the next season of your life, positioning yourself to receive the increase that God has prepared. This process of awakening a fresh vision also brings with it a refining of your desires. You may find that your passions are shifting, that your goals are changing, and that your priorities are being recalibrated. What once seemed important may no longer carry the same weight. God uses this season to reorient your heart so that your desires align with His purpose. The restlessness you feel is in fact a tool of divine alignment. It teaches you to release what is temporary, to pursue what is eternal, and to focus on what truly matters in the context of your destiny. This refinement of desire is critical because elevation is not just about position or opportunity, it is about purpose, and God wants your desires to match the destiny He has designed for you. As your vision becomes clearer, you may also begin to experience a sense of discontent with mediocrity. Life at its current level may feel too small, too predictable, or too limited. This dissatisfaction is not negative. It is a necessary part of the process of growth. It signals that your spirit is being prepared to operate at a higher frequency. God is awakening in you a hunger for more. More knowledge, more influence, more impact, and more intimacy with Him. This hunger fuels action, perseverance, and faith. Without it, many would remain stagnant, content with comfort rather than pursuing the fullness of God's plan. The restlessness you feel is a divine mechanism that prevents complacency and drives you toward the next level. Another manifestation of this divine stirring is a heightened sensitivity to opportunities and possibilities. You begin to notice doors that you previously overlooked. You start to recognize patterns, trends, and moments that align with your vision. This increased awareness is not coincidence. It is a sign that God is sharpening your perception in preparation for greater responsibilities. Elevation requires discernment. The next level will demand that you see things with clarity, make decisions with wisdom, and act with precision. The awakening of vision and the accompanying restlessness fine-tune your spiritual and mental faculties so that you can navigate the complexities of higher levels of influence with confidence and insight. As this restlessness intensifies, you may also feel a call to leave your comfort zone. God often uses this stirring to challenge you to step beyond what is familiar, safe, or predictable. He may prompt you to take risks, to embrace new opportunities, or to pursue paths that require courage and faith. This is because elevation is never achieved by staying in the same place or doing the same things. The next level always demands expansion, growth, and a willingness to venture into the unknown. The restlessness in your spirit is God's way of preparing you to stretch, to step out in faith, and to engage with the higher calling He has placed before you. The process of this awakening also strengthens your resilience. As you begin to sense that your current circumstances are insufficient, you may encounter resistance, doubt, or opposition from others. Some may question your intentions, discourage your efforts, or misunderstand your purpose. Yet, the stirring within you persists, pushing you to rise above external pressures and remain focused on the vision God has placed in your heart. This inner drive cultivates perseverance, determination, and spiritual fortitude. It teaches you that elevation is not granted to those who give up easily, but to those who remain steadfast, even in the face of uncertainty and challenge. The restlessness is a training ground for endurance, preparing you to withstand the demands and pressures of higher levels. At the same time, this divine restlessness brings clarity of mission. You begin to discern the purpose behind your experiences, challenges, and desires. Your life starts to make more sense, and the pieces of your journey begin to align in a way that reveals God's plan. This clarity is essential for elevation because the higher you go, the more critical it becomes to understand your purpose. Without a clear sense of mission, opportunities may pass you by, decisions may become confusing, and the path forward may feel uncertain. The stirring within you acts as a compass, guiding you toward the destiny that God has designed and ensuring that every step you take aligns with His vision. This awakening also transforms your perspective on time and patience. As the restlessness grows, you recognize that waiting is part of the process. Elevation does not happen overnight. It requires preparation, timing, and alignment. The stirring within you teaches you to embrace the journey, to trust God's timing, and to remain committed even when results are not immediate. It cultivates patience and perseverance, reinforcing the understanding that every season of discomfort, waiting, or uncertainty is a step toward the fulfillment of God's promise. The restlessness is not a call to impatience, but a call to faithful action, reminding you that preparation and timing are as important as vision and desire. In addition, the awakening of vision often encourages innovation and creativity. When God stirs your spirit, you begin to think in new ways, to approach problems with fresh solutions, and to envision possibilities that were previously unimaginable. This creative insight is a sign that God is equipping you for the next level. Elevation often requires new ideas, bold strategies, and innovative approaches to leadership, influence, and service. The restlessness within you fuels this creativity, ensuring that you are prepared to operate effectively in a higher dimension of responsibility. It is a divine signal that your mind is being aligned with the purposes of God, ready to conceive and execute strategies that will impact not only your life but the lives of others. Another crucial aspect of this divine restlessness is that it fosters deeper spiritual intimacy. As your spirit becomes restless with the status quo, you naturally seek God more earnestly. You begin to pray with greater intensity, meditate with deeper focus, and seek His guidance with heightened sensitivity. This intimacy is critical for elevation because the next level requires not just skill and wisdom, but alignment with God's will. The stirring within your heart is a divine invitation to draw closer to God, to listen attentively, and to cultivate a relationship that will sustain you through the challenges, responsibilities, and opportunities that lie ahead. This restlessness also develops courage and faith. As God awakens vision within you, He simultaneously challenges you to trust Him in ways you never have before. You may be prompted to step into unfamiliar territory, to speak boldly, to make decisions that defy conventional wisdom, or to act on opportunities that require risk. This courage is born of faith and is nurtured by the restlessness that God places in your heart. It is a sign that He is equipping you to operate in the next season with boldness, confidence, and reliance on His guidance. Without this divine stirring, fear and complacency might prevent you from embracing the fullness of your calling. As the vision grows clearer and the restlessness intensifies, you also begin to recognize patterns of divine orchestration in your life. Situations, encounters, and experiences that once seemed random begin to reveal a purpose. You start to see how God has been preparing you through seasons of challenge, training, and even loss. This recognition strengthens your faith and reinforces the understanding that elevation is part of a divine plan. The restlessness is a reminder that God is not absent, that He is actively shaping your journey, and that your next level is already prepared and waiting for your obedience and readiness. The awakening of vision and holy restlessness also compels you to take action in alignment with your calling. You can no longer remain passive, waiting for life to happen to you. You are driven to pursue opportunities, build relationships, and develop skills that will position you for the next season. This divine urging is a form of training that prepares you to engage proactively with your destiny. Elevation is not merely a reward, it is the result of preparation, initiative, and alignment with God's vision. The restlessness ensures that you are actively participating in the unfolding of your purpose rather than remaining stagnant or complacent. Finally, this divine stirring transforms your perspective on challenges and discomfort. Instead of viewing the current season as inconvenient or frustrating, you begin to see it as a necessary stage of preparation. The restlessness itself becomes a guide, pointing you toward growth, opportunity, and higher purpose. You understand that discomfort is temporary, that dissatisfaction is purposeful, and that the next level is worth every moment of struggle. This shift in perspective is essential for elevation because it allows you to embrace the process with faith, focus, and perseverance. You begin to see that every stir in your heart, every restless moment, and every new vision is part of God's orchestration to position you for greatness, influence, and fulfillment. When God is elevating you to the next level, one of the most unmistakable signs is the sudden appearance of uncommon favor in your life. This favor often comes in ways that cannot be explained by human effort, talent, or connections. It manifests as doors opening that no man can open, opportunities presenting themselves at the right moment, and resources being provided in ways that defy logic or ordinary expectation. Uncommon favor is not about luck or coincidence. It is a deliberate act of God, a divine endorsement, and a confirmation that He is orchestrating your path. This is a powerful sign that you are being positioned for promotion because favor is always attached to destiny, and God reserves His extraordinary favor for those He is ready to elevate. The first thing to understand about this divine favor is that it often comes when you are in alignment with God's purpose for your life. It is not random or accidental. When you are walking in obedience, pursuing His will, and aligning your actions with His plan, favor begins to manifest. You may find that people start to support your ideas, doors begin to open at unexpected times, and circumstances that once seemed difficult suddenly become manageable. This is because God is recognizing your faithfulness and is now providing the support necessary for the next level of impact. Favor acts as a divine multiplier, taking what you already have and amplifying it to produce results that exceed natural expectation. Uncommon favor also has a way of attracting the right people into your life at the right time. As God prepares you for elevation, He surrounds you with individuals who will help carry out His purpose. Mentors, allies, and partners often appear just when you need them, offering guidance, resources, or encouragement that seems perfectly timed. This is not mere coincidence, it is divine orchestration. Favor ensures that the people who enter your life are aligned with your destiny and can contribute to your growth and success. At the next level, relationships matter profoundly, and God uses favor to connect you with the individuals who will walk with you into your new season. Another aspect of uncommon favor is the sudden alignment of resources and opportunities. You may find that financial provisions, strategic contacts, or critical information arrive at precisely the right moment. These blessings often come in ways that appear miraculous because they defy conventional planning or human calculation. God uses these moments of favor to demonstrate that your elevation is not dependent on mere effort, but on His divine intervention. When He is lifting you, He ensures that you have what you need to step into the next level effectively. This is a reassurance that you are being guided, equipped, and prepared for what lies ahead. Favor also has a way of creating influence where none existed before. People who once overlooked you may suddenly begin to recognize your potential value and contributions. Your voice, ideas, and presence start to carry weight in circles where influence matters. This is because favor is not only about provision but about positioning. God elevates you by placing you in situations where your impact is multiplied and where your life becomes a testimony of His divine intervention. Influence, like resources, is a form of favor, and it is a key sign that you are being readied for promotion. The higher you go, the more your influence must grow. And favor ensures that you are not only prepared but recognized. Uncommon favor often comes with a sense of peace and assurance that surpasses natural understanding. Even when challenges arise, you feel guided, protected, and equipped to handle them. This divine assurance is a sign that God is not only elevating you, but is also walking with you through the process. You may encounter obstacles or opposition, but favor acts as a shield, providing protection and guidance that ensures your progress. It is a confirmation that God's hand is upon you and that He is orchestrating events in your favor, even when circumstances appear unfavorable. Favor also reveals itself in opportunities that are beyond your personal qualifications or abilities. You may be placed in positions that seem too large, too complex, or too advanced for your current skill set. Yet, because God's favor accompanies you, you find yourself able to perform beyond what is humanly possible. Doors open where there are no logical explanations, and you discover that the favor of God is equipping you for the responsibilities of the next level. This is an important principle of elevation. God does not always prepare you in advance for every situation. Instead, He grants favor, guidance, and support at the moment it is required, allowing you to rise to the occasion through His power. Another dimension of uncommon favor is the way it shifts circumstances in your favor, often in the presence of opposition. You may encounter resistance, skepticism, or even hostility, yet the outcome bends toward blessing. This is a clear indicator that God is orchestrating your promotion. Favor does not eliminate opposition entirely, but it ensures that your progress is not hindered by it. The obstacles that appear threatening are often the very situations that God uses to highlight His favor. Your elevation becomes evident not in the absence of challenges, but in the way favor transforms them into stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. Favor also manifests in accelerated timing. Opportunities that would normally take months or years to materialize may appear suddenly and unexpectedly. Deadlines are met, connections are made, and progress is realized faster than human expectation. This acceleration is a sign that God is actively managing your journey, ensuring that you reach the next level according to His divine plan rather than your own timeline. It is a reminder that elevation is not about rushing or forcing outcomes, but about trusting God to release His favor at precisely the right moment for maximum impact. Uncommon favor also teaches humility and gratitude. As God elevates you, you begin to recognize that success is not solely the result of personal effort. It is easy to take credit for achievements when progress comes quickly, but favor reminds you that your promotion is divinely orchestrated. It fosters a heart of humility, acknowledging that every blessing, opportunity, and victory is a result of God's hand at work in your life. This humility is essential for sustaining elevation, as it ensures that your character remains grounded and that you continue to walk in alignment with God's purposes even as your influence and responsibilities grow. Favor is also accompanied by discernment. As God opens doors, He also provides wisdom to navigate them. Not every opportunity is beneficial, and not every person you encounter has your best interests at heart. Divine favor is always paired with guidance, ensuring that you recognize which opportunities align with your purpose and which may be distractions. Elevation requires discernment, and the favor of God equips you to make decisions that honor your calling, protect your integrity, and position you for long-term success. Another significant aspect of uncommon favor is that it often brings recognition without effort. Your reputation may precede you, or your work may be acknowledged in ways that you did not initiate. People begin to speak positively about you, doors open because of your credibility, and your influence grows organically. This is not a result of self-promotion, but of divine positioning. Favor ensures that your life and actions attract attention, support, and endorsement in ways that prepare you for the responsibilities of the next level. Recognition is not the goal of favor, but it is a natural byproduct of God's orchestration. Favor also inspires boldness and confidence. When you recognize that God is opening doors and aligning circumstances on your behalf, you are emboldened to step into opportunities that you might have otherwise avoided. Fear and doubt lose their grip because you understand that you are not relying solely on your own ability. Elevation requires courage, and favor provides the assurance that God is with you, equipping you to act decisively and step into positions of greater influence and responsibility. This boldness, fueled by divine favor, is essential for navigating the challenges and expectations of higher levels of impact. Uncommon favor also accelerates growth and learning. As you are positioned in new environments, exposed to new people, and entrusted with greater responsibility, you are compelled to learn, adapt, and grow. Favor ensures that these experiences are fruitful, providing lessons, skills, and insights that prepare you for sustained success. Every opportunity that comes through favor is also an opportunity for development. God uses these moments to expand your capacity, deepen your understanding, and equip you for the demands of the next season. Favor is also relational. It builds bridges where there were none, mends fences, and creates alliances that were previously impossible. People who once ignored or opposed you may become supporters. Connections that seemed unlikely now become strategic relationships. Favor influences human hearts and circumstances in ways that align with God's plan for your life. This relational dimension of favor is crucial for elevation because the next level often requires collaboration, partnerships, and networks that were not necessary in previous seasons. Favor opens the way for these relationships to form naturally and productively. Another essential aspect of uncommon favor is protection. When God is elevating you, He ensures that you are preserved from situations, people, or decisions that could derail your progress. Favor acts as a shield, guiding you away from hidden pitfalls, guiding you toward opportunities, and ensuring that your steps are ordered according to His plan. Protection through favor is not always visible, but it is consistently at work, ensuring that you reach the next level intact, ready and equipped to handle the responsibilities ahead. Uncommon favor also magnifies the impact of your efforts. Tasks that once required great effort now yield multiplied results. Your influence extends farther than anticipated, and your work begins to bear fruit beyond what you imagined. This multiplication is a hallmark of divine favor. God is not only preparing you for the next level, He is amplifying your capacity to create results, lead effectively, and fulfill your purpose with greater efficiency and impact. Every action you take in alignment with God's will is blessed and multiplied through His favor. Favor often comes with a sense of divine timing. You may find that situations align perfectly, coincidences turn into opportunities, and moments converge in ways that confirm God's orchestration. This timing ensures that you are positioned at the right place at the right moment to receive the next level of blessing. Elevation is rarely random. It is always the result of careful divine planning. Favor reveals the precision of God's timing, demonstrating that every step of your journey is under His control and that your promotion is neither accidental nor delayed. Finally, uncommon favor is transformative. It changes your circumstances, shifts perceptions, expands influence, and opens doors to new opportunities. It prepares you not only for the next level, but for sustained success in that level. Favor is a signal that God is actively involved in your life, endorsing your journey and orchestrating your path. It ensures that when you step into the next season, you do so with resources, relationships, influence, and confidence that are aligned with His purpose and plan. When God is elevating you to the next level, one of the clearest signs you will encounter is the increase of responsibility in your life. Elevation is never just about position, title, or opportunity. It is about being entrusted with greater influence, stewardship, and accountability. Responsibility is the test of promotion. God does not elevate someone simply because they desire it or because they are ambitious. He elevates those who have demonstrated faithfulness, integrity, and the capacity to manage what He has already placed in their hands. This increase in responsibility can appear in various forms: leadership over people, oversight of resources, management of time and priorities, or guidance of projects and initiatives that have significant impact. Each additional responsibility is a sign that God is preparing you for higher levels of authority and influence, because promotion is never accidental. It is earned through proven stewardship and aligned character. As your responsibilities increase, you will notice that the stakes in your decisions are higher. What may have been minor choices in the past now carry weighty consequences. God elevates you gradually, providing new assignments that test your wisdom, discernment, and judgment. These tests are not meant to intimidate you, but to refine you. They stretch your capacity to think critically, act decisively, and consider the broader impact of your choices. Elevation is about preparation. It is about being ready to manage greater influence without succumbing to pride, negligence, or impulsiveness. When responsibility increases, it is a clear indicator that God trusts you to handle more. An increase in responsibility also demands greater discipline. God will place tasks, roles, or challenges in your hands that require a higher level of commitment, focus, and persistence. The habits that were sufficient in previous seasons may no longer suffice. Your ability to manage your time, maintain your integrity, and prioritize effectively will be tested. This increased responsibility often comes with more complex problems to solve, more people to influence, and more resources to oversee. God uses this season to cultivate skills, refine character, and strengthen leadership. It is a time to develop resilience, patience, and the ability to navigate complex situations with wisdom and grace. As responsibility grows, you may also notice an increase in accountability. God holds those He is preparing for promotion to a higher standard. People will begin to observe your actions more closely, and your decisions will carry greater visibility and scrutiny. This is not meant to discourage you, but to ensure that you're developing the character required for long-term success. Accountability teaches humility, encourages consistency, and strengthens integrity. Elevation without accountability can lead to failure, misuse of influence, and compromise of purpose. Therefore, the increase in responsibility is also a measure of God's trust in your ability to manage what He entrusts to you while maintaining alignment with His principles. Another aspect of increased responsibility is the growth of influence over others. As God elevates you, you will find that your words, actions, and decisions carry more impact. People will look to you for guidance, leadership, and direction. Your attitude and conduct become models for others to follow, and your life will increasingly affect those around you. This influence is not to be taken lightly, for with it comes the need for wisdom, discernment, and sensitivity. God is training you to recognize that the next level is not about personal gain, but about stewardship, impact, and the responsibility to shape and guide lives in alignment with His purpose. The increase of responsibility also requires adaptability. As God positions you for promotion, you may be placed in environments, situations, or roles that are unfamiliar. You will encounter challenges that demand innovative solutions, flexibility, and the ability to navigate uncertainty. The higher the level of responsibility, the more complex and dynamic the circumstances you will face. God uses these experiences to cultivate resourcefulness, problem-solving skills, and the ability to respond effectively under pressure. Elevation is not about maintaining comfort. It is about developing competence, confidence, and maturity to handle the demands of greater stewardship. Greater responsibility also intensifies the need for strategic thinking. At higher levels of influence, decisions are rarely isolated. They have far-reaching consequences that impact people, resources, and outcomes. God begins to expand your vision so that you can see beyond immediate concerns and anticipate future implications. Strategic thinking involves understanding patterns, recognizing opportunities, and planning actions that align with long-term objectives. As responsibility grows, God provides insight, wisdom, and discernment to help you navigate complex systems, make informed decisions, and maximize your effectiveness in alignment with His plan. The increase in responsibility also strengthens your capacity for patience and endurance. With more influence comes greater pressure, expectation, and scrutiny. You may face criticism, opposition, or misunderstandings as you take on roles that challenge the status quo or require significant change. God uses these experiences to develop resilience, perseverance, and the ability to maintain focus and integrity under pressure. Patience is essential for elevation because it ensures that you remain steadfast, faithful, and committed to God's plan even when the process is challenging or the results are not immediately visible. As your responsibilities grow, God also cultivates a sense of stewardship over resources, people, and opportunities. Elevation is not just about receiving, it is about managing what has been entrusted to you. Resources may include finances, relationships, influence, or strategic positions that require careful oversight. God tests your ability to handle these responsibilities with integrity, wisdom, and discernment. Successful stewardship demonstrates readiness for even greater assignments. The higher the level of responsibility, the more trust God places in you to make decisions that honor His purpose and maximize impact. Increased responsibility also calls for deeper humility. As you are entrusted with more, it is easy to become prideful, assuming that your elevation is solely the result of your effort or intelligence. God uses greater responsibility to remind you that promotion is by His grace, guidance, and favor. Humility ensures that you remain teachable, grounded, and aligned with His principles. It allows you to seek counsel, rely on divine wisdom, and lead with a servant's heart. Elevation without humility can lead to misuse of authority, broken relationships, and compromise of purpose. Therefore, the increase in responsibility is both a test and a training ground for character development. Another critical aspect of rising responsibility is the development of emotional intelligence. As you lead, influence, and manage more, you encounter diverse personalities, expectations, and pressures. God uses these interactions to teach you empathy, patience, and discernment in dealing with people. Emotional intelligence enables you to handle conflict, motivate others, and maintain relationships in a way that honors God and supports your leadership. The next level of elevation requires the ability to influence hearts and minds effectively, and increased responsibility is God's way of equipping you with the skills needed for relational leadership. Greater responsibility also amplifies your need for vision and purpose. As God entrusts more to you, He simultaneously reveals a broader perspective of His plan. Your role in the next level is not isolated. It connects to a larger purpose and impacts more people. Understanding this connection is vital for making wise decisions, maintaining focus, and prioritizing effectively. Responsibility sharpens your ability to see the big picture, anticipate consequences, and act with intentionality. It aligns your actions with God's purposes and prepares you to operate at higher levels of leadership, influence, and impact. With increased responsibility comes a need for greater faith. As the stakes rise, challenges become more complex, and outcomes more uncertain. You must rely on God's guidance, provision, and wisdom. The next level requires trust in Him even when circumstances appear difficult or confusing. God uses the added responsibilities to stretch your faith, deepen your reliance on Him, and cultivate confidence in His ability to guide and sustain you. Faith becomes the anchor that enables you to navigate the pressures and expectations of elevated roles with stability and clarity. In addition, greater responsibility cultivates foresight and planning. As God entrusts you with more, you begin to understand the importance of anticipating needs, preparing for challenges, and strategically allocating resources. Elevation requires the ability to see beyond the present moment, make informed decisions, and act with foresight. Responsibility trains you to evaluate situations carefully, prioritize effectively, and implement solutions that yield long-term impact. God uses this process to expand your capacity for leadership, influence, and decision-making in alignment with His plan. The increase in responsibility also fosters accountability and integrity. With greater influence, your actions and decisions are observed more closely, and the impact of your choices becomes more significant. God uses this season to cultivate integrity, ensuring that you remain trustworthy, ethical, and aligned with His principles. Accountability strengthens character, promotes discipline, and ensures that your elevation is sustainable. It teaches you that leadership is not just about authority, but about faithful stewardship of the trust and influence entrusted to you. As responsibility grows, God also expands your problem-solving capacity. The challenges you face at higher levels are more complex, multifaceted, and consequential. You are required to think critically, assess situations thoroughly, and implement solutions that align with God's purposes. This growth in problem-solving is a direct result of the increased responsibility, as God provides both opportunities and guidance to develop these essential skills. Elevation requires not only vision and faith, but also the practical ability to navigate obstacles, manage resources, and lead effectively. Increased responsibility often comes with increased visibility. Your actions, decisions, and outcomes become more public, and the impact of your life extends further than before. God uses this visibility to prepare you for the broader influence you will wield at the next level. The higher you rise, the more your life becomes a testimony of God's faithfulness, guidance, and power. Responsibility ensures that you learn to manage this visibility with humility, wisdom, and discernment, understanding that your influence carries weight and significance in the lives of others. Finally, the increase in responsibility equips you for sustained success. Elevation is not about temporary promotion or fleeting opportunity. It is about long-term impact, influence, and alignment with God's purpose. The added responsibilities you experience are intentional, designed to prepare you for higher levels of authority, stewardship, and service. They test your faith, develop your character, expand your capacity, and refine your leadership. God entrusts more to those He is preparing, and the increase in responsibility is one of the clearest signs that He is elevating you to the next level. When God is elevating you to the next level, one of the most profound signs is the sudden alignment of circumstances and timing in your favor. This is not a random occurrence or mere coincidence. It is a deliberate orchestration by God, a demonstration of His power and precision in preparing your life for a higher level of influence and impact. Alignment occurs when opportunities, people, resources, and events converge in a way that positions you to step into your next season with maximum effectiveness. It is a clear indication that God is actively arranging your environment, orchestrating situations, and managing the elements of your life so that you are perfectly positioned for promotion. When you begin to notice that things are falling into place in ways that surpass human understanding, you are witnessing a divine sign of elevation. The alignment of circumstances often begins subtly. You may notice that challenges you once faced are now resolving in unexpected ways. Doors that seemed closed suddenly open. Opportunities appear that you did not actively pursue. People who can assist, mentor, or support you come into your life precisely when you need them. This alignment is intentional. God is demonstrating that He is in control, guiding your steps, and preparing you to operate at a higher level. The timing of these events is perfect, and the resources necessary for your advancement are made available at exactly the right moment. This synchronization is a hallmark of divine orchestration and a sign that elevation is imminent. One of the remarkable aspects of alignment is that it often defies human logic. You may encounter situations where the convergence of events seems too perfect to be natural. Connections with influential people, financial provision, or strategic opportunities may appear simultaneously in a way that could not be orchestrated by human effort alone. This is a sign that God is actively managing your journey, ensuring that you are positioned for success and prepared to step into your next level of influence. When alignment occurs, it validates your path, strengthens your faith, and confirms that your promotion is divinely timed. The alignment of timing is particularly significant. God understands the importance of seasons and timing in your life. Elevation is not just about ability or ambition. It is about arriving at the right place at the right moment. When God aligns circumstances in your favor, it ensures that you encounter opportunities when you are spiritually, mentally, and emotionally ready to handle them. This divine timing prevents premature promotion, which can lead to failure, and ensures that you are fully equipped to maximize the impact of the next level. Timing alignment is a subtle but powerful sign that God is orchestrating your elevation according to His perfect plan. Alignment also involves the convergence of resources. As God prepares you for elevation, He provides the tools, knowledge, connections, and provision necessary to succeed. You may find that people offer assistance at the perfect moment. Finances arrive unexpectedly, or solutions to problems appear just when you need them. These resources often come in ways that surpass human explanation, demonstrating God's active involvement in your preparation. Alignment of resources ensures that you are not only ready for promotion, but also equipped to thrive at the next level. It is a sign that God is removing obstacles, providing support, and guiding your path so that your transition is smooth and effective. Another key aspect of alignment is the convergence of relationships. God often places the right people in your life at the right time to support your elevation. Mentors, allies, and partners appear to provide guidance, encouragement, and opportunities that align with your purpose. These relationships are strategically placed to facilitate growth, open doors, and provide insight that would otherwise be unavailable. The alignment of relationships demonstrates God's foresight and preparation, ensuring that you are surrounded by the individuals who can help you navigate the responsibilities, challenges, and opportunities of the next level. Alignment also manifests in the resolution of obstacles. Challenges that previously seemed insurmountable may suddenly find solutions. Conflicts may resolve, problems may be mitigated, and barriers may fall away in ways that appear miraculous. This is a sign that God is clearing your path for promotion. The removal of obstacles is not always immediate or dramatic, but when it occurs in alignment with your efforts and readiness, it confirms that God is actively preparing you for elevation. The timing and manner in which obstacles are removed are precise, demonstrating that your next level is already being orchestrated in the spiritual realm. The alignment of circumstances also encourages strategic thinking and discernment. As you notice patterns and convergence in your life, you begin to understand the importance of intentional action and wise decision-making. Opportunities, resources, and relationships are presented in alignment with your purpose, but they require discernment to navigate effectively. God uses this season to sharpen your judgment, strengthen your decision-making abilities, and teach you to recognize alignment as a sign to act boldly and faithfully. Strategic thinking in the context of alignment ensures that you are not only prepared for elevation, but also capable of maximizing the opportunities presented to you. Alignment often brings clarity and confirmation. When multiple elements of your life begin to synchronize, it confirms that you are on the right path. You may receive affirmation through circumstances, feedback from trusted advisors, or a deep inner conviction that you are moving according to God's plan. This clarity reinforces your confidence, strengthens your faith, and motivates you to continue pursuing the next level. Confirmation through alignment is essential because it reassures you that your efforts, decisions, and direction are in harmony with God's purpose, and that your elevation is not accidental but intentional. The alignment of circumstances also fosters resilience and patience. As God orchestrates your elevation, you may encounter periods of waiting, uncertainty, or challenge. The convergence of events and timing teaches you to trust in His process, remain patient, and persevere despite temporary delays or obstacles. Alignment demonstrates that God is in control, even when progress seems slow, and that every element of your journey is being carefully managed to prepare you for the next level. Patience and resilience developed through alignment ensure that you are spiritually, emotionally, and mentally prepared for the responsibilities that accompany promotion. Another dimension of alignment is the amplification of opportunities. When God orchestrates circumstances in your favor, opportunities often multiply beyond what you anticipated. A single connection may lead to multiple partnerships, a single solution may unlock several doors, or a single decision may create a chain reaction of favorable outcomes. This amplification is a sign that God is not only preparing you for elevation, but is also positioning you to maximize the impact of your next level. Alignment ensures that your promotion is not limited to a single outcome, but is expansive, creating a ripple effect that influences multiple areas of your life and the lives of others. Alignment also strengthens faith and reliance on God. When you witness the precise convergence of circumstances, timing, and resources, it becomes clear that your journey is guided by divine intervention. This awareness deepens your trust in God, reinforces your dependence on His wisdom, and encourages you to seek His guidance continually. Elevation requires faith because higher levels of responsibility, influence, and impact often come with uncertainty and challenges. Alignment serves as a reminder that God is orchestrating every detail, ensuring that your steps are guided, your path is prepared, and your promotion is secure. The alignment of circumstances also encourages boldness and decisive action. When you recognize that events, resources, and relationships are converging in your favor, it signals that God is providing an opportunity to move forward with confidence. This divine orchestration is a call to act decisively, leveraging the alignment to step into your next level. Boldness is essential for elevation because hesitation or indecision can cause missed opportunities. Alignment provides the assurance and timing needed to act with courage, faith, and strategic intent, ensuring that your promotion is executed effectively. Alignment also enhances the impact of your influence. As circumstances converge, your actions, decisions, and contributions are amplified. The right people, resources, and opportunities come together to create outcomes that surpass what could be achieved individually. This amplification is a sign that God is not only preparing you for elevation, but is also equipping you to leave a lasting impact at the next level. Alignment ensures that your influence is maximized, your efforts are multiplied, and your contribution to God's purpose is fully realized. Another aspect of alignment is the creation of momentum. When events, opportunities, and resources align, they generate forward motion that propels you toward your next level. Momentum is essential for sustaining progress, overcoming obstacles, and achieving long-term success. God uses alignment to create this momentum, ensuring that your elevation is not a single event, but a sustained journey of growth, impact, and fulfillment. The forward movement generated through alignment is a clear indication that God is actively orchestrating your path and positioning you for greater influence. Alignment also cultivates discernment regarding timing and opportunity. As God orchestrates events, you begin to recognize patterns, signals, and indicators that guide your decisions. This discernment is essential for navigating the complexities of higher levels of responsibility, influence, and impact. Alignment teaches you to identify the right moments to act, the right relationships to pursue, and the right resources to leverage. It sharpens your spiritual, mental, and practical insight, ensuring that you can navigate your promotion with wisdom, precision, and effectiveness. The alignment of circumstances also strengthens gratitude and awareness of God's hand in your life. When you observe how events, opportunities, and people converge in perfect timing, it fosters a deep sense of appreciation and recognition of God's guidance. Gratitude reinforces humility, encourages faithful stewardship, and reminds you that your promotion is the result of divine orchestration rather than human effort alone. Elevation accompanied by gratitude ensures that your success is sustainable. Your character remains grounded, and your influence is exercised in alignment with God's purposes. Alignment also signals the preparation of the environment for your next level. God arranges situations, positions, and opportunities in a way that maximizes your readiness and impact. The people, resources, and circumstances surrounding you are strategically positioned to support your elevation. This preparation ensures that when you step into the next level, You are not hindered by obstacles, lack of resources, or unprepared conditions. Alignment is a sign that God is actively preparing both you and your environment for optimal effectiveness in the new season. Another dimension of alignment is the synchronization of personal growth with external opportunities. As God positions you for promotion, your skills, wisdom, and character are developed in tandem with the opportunities that arise. This ensures that you are fully equipped to handle the responsibilities, challenges, and influence that come with elevation. The alignment of growth and opportunity demonstrates God's precision in preparing you, ensuring that you are neither underprepared nor overwhelmed when stepping into your next level. Finally, alignment provides assurance and confirmation of God's favor and plan. When circumstances, resources, timing, and relationships converge in your favor, it is a clear sign that God is actively orchestrating your elevation. Alignment reassures you that your efforts, faith, and obedience are recognized, that your next level is divinely timed, and that you are fully prepared to step into the responsibilities, influence, and opportunities that await. It is a powerful confirmation that God's hand is upon you, guiding, positioning, and elevating you to the next season of your life. In closing, I want you to understand this truth: God's elevation is never accidental, and His timing is never delayed. Every sign you have experienced, the stirring of vision, the divine favor, the increase of responsibility, the alignment of circumstances, is a clear testimony that He is preparing you for a higher level of purpose, influence, and impact. Do not despise the process, do not fear the changes, and do not doubt the unseen hand that is guiding you. The same God who brought you this far is the one orchestrating every detail to bring you into the fullness of your destiny. Elevation requires faith, patience, obedience, and a heart aligned with His purpose. It demands that you rise above comfort, mediocrity, and complacency. It calls for courage to step into new realms of responsibility, wisdom to navigate increased influence, and integrity to handle the favor and opportunities that God is placing in your path. Remember, promotion is not simply about position, it is about preparation, character, and the faithful stewardship of what God entrusts to you. So, when you see these signs in your life, rejoice. Do not be discouraged by challenges or delays, for they are part of God's refining process. Embrace the stirring in your spirit, walk in the favor He is granting, carry your responsibilities with diligence, and recognize the divine alignment that is paving the way for your next level. God is elevating you, and nothing can stop His plan. Your time is coming. Your season of breakthrough, increase, and manifestation is already prepared. Step forward boldly, walk in faith, and receive the fullness of what He has designed for you, knowing that the God who began this work will complete it with power, glory, and purpose. This is your moment to rise, to shine, and to fulfill the destiny that has been ordained for you from the foundations of the earth. The next level is not just a possibility, it is your divine inheritance. Embrace it, pursue it, and live it, for God is elevating you, and the world is waiting for the greatness He has placed within you.